5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in, Robin. This is the time of year when everybody is saying, 10 days. So far, so good.
Yep.
All of my New Year's resolutions still intact. I'm going to be a meaner, leaner man by the end of this year.
That's right.
Right? Or something else. And this is a topic right now, unless I'm wrong, our guest will correct me, but I believe this is about men's health, Robin.
Yes, it is.
Dr. John Puma is on the phone. He's a board-certified specialist in internal medicine. He's the co-founder of the Chef MD video series, the medical director of the Chef Clinic in Santa Barbara, California. He's a national PBS television host and a New York Times best-selling author. The book that we're going to focus on is called Refuel, a 24-day eating plan to shed fat, boost testosterone, and pump up strength and stamina.
I love that. I'm all ears.
So there you go. And whenever they do a book for men, it's always in like brown and white or black and white, whatever you call that color, right?
Yeah.
It's a nice, strong cover, right?
Yeah, with red. I love that.
Good morning, Dr. LaPuma. Thank you for being on the show with us.
Larry and Robin, it's a pleasure to be with you.
24 days, huh?
That's what our research showed, that the men that did the pilot study were able to achieve remarkable results in just that time, and the 62% lost 10% pounds or more, 67% had better energy, 75% increased their muscle mass, and 75% got better sleep. And we reported these results at Stanford and at South by Southwest in Austin at their educational conference. So we are confident that men really need to have a personal eating program that is directed towards and specifically engineered for them personally.
And okay, I have so many questions right now. They all almost came out at once, so I'm sorry. If you are trying to get rid of a bad habit, I've often heard that, 15 days or something like that, if you did the same thing, if you replaced it with a good habit for 15 days, you could get rid of it or something like that. Is that part of this, is to get rid of the bad habits?
It is. It's actually replacing the bad habits with good ones. And the reason this works for men, Larry and Robin, is that we have constructed a table of easiest steps that if you can't drink, for example, the entire 3 liters of citrus water, and I know in Florida you have great citrus, as we do here in California, if you can't drink that whole 3 liters in a day, then you give yourself a cue, an action, and a reward. The cue is you get up in the morning and go to the bathroom to brush your teeth, and right after you brush your teeth, you drink half a cup of citrus water, and then you give yourself a reward, which is a thumbs up, I'm awesome.
Okay, I thought maybe it was something sexual. I wasn't sure.
No.
I wasn't sure what the...
That's in the 5 commandments for getting it up.
That's up to you.
It's up to me, okay. Yeah, well, I was just teasing. So let me ask you about sex just for a second, since I was silly enough to bring it up.
You mean because it's in the title of the book?
Yes, because it's part of it.
Oh.
Here's the thing I've always wondered about. Testosterone comes up a lot, right? People will talk about this a lot. I'm a man. I know how I feel. I know how I respond to visual imagery, okay, and women and stuff like that. Am I really at the mercy of that one chemical or that one hormone? Or, like, if I didn't have that, would I not have those same feelings?
Such a wonderful set of questions. And the short answer is yes. If you didn't have testosterone, you wouldn't have a sex drive. And in fact, that's what happens to a lot of guys in middle age especially, but even as young as their 30s. They develop often kind of an ennui, a sense of not the kind of ambition that they used to have. And this often corresponds with developing what we think of as a pot belly. And that there's a physiological reason for that, and that's simply that the testosterone that your testicles make, and men continue to make testosterone throughout their lives in their testicles, gets converted into estradiol, which is the principal estrogen in women and also in men, by the deep interior belly fat cells. So that pot belly that you see on a guy is almost never fat on the outside. It's never the love handle, pinchable, squishable stuff. It's instead the fat on the inside, which actually acts like an organ, like a pancreas or a spleen or a thyroid or an organ that actually makes hormones, because that's what that interior fat is doing. It is stealing your testosterone.
Oh, really? So when you stop being interested in sex, you start to look like you're not interested.
I actually think it's going the other way.
Oh, the other way. Okay.
Yeah, but it is true that looking and feeling better are the two sides of the same coin. And one of the reasons that men in our study had such better sexual drive and sexual performance and erectile ability is simply that they, I think, gained a lot of self-esteem and self-confidence, and the women in their lives, their girlfriends, their partners, their wives, responded to that kind of self-confidence. When you look better, you feel better sort of automatically. But for men, it of course helps lower their blood pressure. It helps control their blood sugar. It helps control gout and back pain. There are a lot of beneficial effects that losing that interior deep belly fat has, and of course it's easier than you think.
And one of the interesting things in your book is that you address the emotional makeup of a man, because they go through their whole life, being told they need to be strong, they shouldn't cry. If they do, they're wuss. But you say it's great to show your feelings. I mean, you have to have feelings.
Men do have feelings, and actually it's underappreciated that men have actually greater 27% of men have some kind of major psychiatric illness in their life versus just 23% of women, and yet women are pigeonholed as the ones that have all the mental health difficulties. That's not true at all. It simply comes out differently in men. Men often are angry instead of very, very sad. So the important point is that men actually don't have to get into the physiology or into the feelings really deeply. All they have to do is follow a couple of simple rules, and we engineered it so that it's just super easy to do, and that women who want to help a man get healthy or get to the doctor, and twice as many men last year didn't go to the doctor as did women, that can kind of learn how men think and the right language to use and the right language not to use for men who are trying to get healthy in this new year.
So what it sounds like you're saying is that if I want to be motivated to do something better for myself, it goes beyond what I see in the mirror and want to change physically. There's something internal that I might be saying, you know what, I feel fine physically, but I just don't know that I don't have the stamina, I don't have the energy, and this would help with that as well.
I think so. In fact, that's what our data show, and that's why we constructed the program. There are, as you know, if you look at testosterone levels over time, they're actually declining in men over the last 35 years by 25%. And that's not just in the United States, that's actually worldwide. The same thing is true for sperm levels. They've also gone down, kind of the flip side, 35% in 25 years. And that's not widely known. There are a lot of different reasons for it, I think, having to do with environmental toxins and gender benders in the environment. But this is one thing that men can control, this conversion of testosterone to estrogen. So I'm trying to get men to think about food as fuel. I mean, you wouldn't put crappy fuel into your car, so why would you put it into your body?
Okay, so... Okay, so let's see if we can focus on some of them just a little bit. I noticed, by the way, pistachios are a good food, huh?
Excellent. 47 are an ounce, about 170 calories, especially the ones in the shell. You open it up, and chew it 10 times. By the time that 27 runs around, you're actually full. You don't want to eat the extra 20, but you do because they're there, and because they're help to stabilize your blood sugar, because they give you something to do. That if you compare men's abilities with women's abilities in the area of food, men are far better at chewing. You tell a guy to chew a nut 10 times, he can do it. You tell a woman to do it 10 times, she can do it most of the time, but not really all the time.
Really?
She sort of loses interest. Yeah.
I'm going to use this.
It's true, though. Women don't like to be told what to do.
No. But women are much better at smelling food, at tasting food, at the texture, understanding the tactile sense of food. Men are have a lot of catching up to do there. So we kind of met men at the place that they were interested. We're interested in chewing. We're interested in getting strong. We're interested in boosting testosterone, having more stamina, and having food that tastes awesome. So that's what we did.
And you also point out that everybody's an individual. There is no cookie cutter nutrition plan or weight loss plan or exercise plan for everybody. A person has to find out what it is exactly that works for them.
That's right, Robin. I think if there was one good diet, we would all be on it. But in fact, it's quite individual. The program that we outline, which is in 3 phases, but most of it is 2 consecutive days of 50 grams of carbs or less, high-quality carbs, and the rest eating pretty normally. So it's sort of a part-time diet, which guys also like because you don't have to have diet all the time, and DIE is the first 3 letters in diet.
I love that observation.
Yeah, you can glom onto it easily, and not eating anything you can crumple or crush also is something that appeals to guys. Having to pound back the 3 liters of citrus water before 5 o'clock, also something that appeals to guys. You have a timeline, and there are great reasons for the citrus water, the vitamin C in it that helps promote growth hormone release and synthesis at night, which guys need to build muscle. The flavor, of course, and the synephrine, which is a chemical in the lining of citrus that increases metabolism, especially in sour oranges and tangerines.
So when you say citrus water, are we speaking about orange juice? Or is there something called citrus water? I just don't even know what that is.
It's a little recipe in my book.
Okay.
But it's basically 3 liters of filtered water, if possible, and then a quarter cup of any citrus juice you like. Some people use orange. It can be bottled lemon juice. But the optimal juices are tangerine and sour orange, which I know you have there in Florida. And you actually can use slices of each of the tangerine or half a tangerine and slices of sour orange, because in the lining, the chemical called synephrine is used to boost metabolism and makes you burn calories even at rest.
And that's usually what I do. I'll go out and order water when we go out to get something to eat, but then I'll get lemons and just squeeze them in there, and that's what I do.
That's perfect.
The book is called Refuel. Actually, it says Men Don't Diet, Men Refuel.
I love
a 24-day eating plan to shed fat, boost testosterone, and pump up strength and stamina, drop the gut, rebuild muscle, and supercharge sex. Dr. John Puma is our guest, and he's the author of the book. Let's focus on supercharged sex. I have a question about that. What is supercharged sex? I mean, is the guy going longer? Is he bigger? What exactly is supercharged about it?
Is he jumpy?
Does it feel better? Does she feel better?
Perfect. So the answer is actually all 3. And the reason that your penis gets longer, no kidding, is that the fat pad around your penis, right above it, gets smaller as you lose weight. So over time, actually, there's a functional increase in how big the penis is. In our study, we asked people, does this help you in sex? And 57% of the guys who could improve their erectile function, not everybody could, they already were at the top, they thought, but 57% of the guys who could did. And 56% had better morning erections as well. I think there are 2 reasons for this, as I outlined before. It's both a great sense of self-confidence and self-esteem, and a physiologic reason. Men are lowering their estrogen level. They are increasing their testosterone level by getting rid of some of that deep belly fat. And the good news is that men get rid of that deep belly fat first. Women have a harder time of it. Women get rid of fat in places they don't really want to get rid of it first.
Yeah, like Chicago.
But men actually do lose the visceral fat first if they begin to eat the right foods, as we outlined, and to do a little bit of what I call, and is well known as, high-intensity interval training. And Zumba, which is so popular there for women, is a kind of high-intensity interval training. But what you really can do, which combines aerobics and resistance, as well as flexibility and balance. But for men, it's as simple as being able to do push-ups and lunges and squats and burpees and jumping jacks and planks. And you don't need a gym for that. You can do it in your own home. You can do it in the yard. You can do it in the park. And you don't have to do 50 at once. You can do push-ups as hard as you can for 10 seconds. If that's one push-up, that's fine. That's where you're starting. And then for 50 seconds, take a break.
Do we do something as men that sabotages the good things you're talking about? And this is very stereotypical, but nevertheless, it is typical as well. The beer, the big steak, the things that we often associate with this is a manly food, this is a manly drink. Mm-hmm. But do those things actually harm us? Well,
too much of them do, and the wrong kinds of them do. The big steak, the 72-ounce steak from Texas, is thought of as masculine, but the paradox, of course, is that it is actually emasculating, that it adds those calories to you so quickly and is often grain-fed and carries problems there as well, that it helps to build that belly fat inside that's converting testosterone to estrogen instead of take it away. Now, I have a great recipe in the book for a grass-fed sirloin with grilled asparagus, and the right size steak is just fine. But the foods that are stereotypically thought of as masculine actually turn out to be just the opposite.
And people just shouldn't forget about walking either, because a lot of people will make excuses why they shouldn't just even walk up to the corner and back.
Every little bit of activity counts, but the most efficient activity for guys who are tight on time is to do high-intensity interval trainings, 10 seconds of something, preferably resistance, like I outlined, really hard, and then 50 seconds of easy. Walking, I think, is a marvelous thing. It enables you to be with your thoughts. It enables you to be out in nature. In a gym, on a treadmill, it enables you to escape for a little bit. And, of course, one of its principal benefits is that it keeps you away from food.
Oh, yeah.
Let me take a couple of phone calls here. Dr. John LaPuma is our guest. His book is called Refuel, and it is a man's guide for a 24-day eating plan to shed fat, boost testosterone, and pump up strength and stamina. I'm guessing you do this for more than 24 days. That's just the beginning, right?
The last 7 days of the program is what you stay on forever, and it's a very simple program, and it does include beer or wine or spirits. I suggest the highest quality you can afford, and I suggest 2 glasses a week for men who want to keep the weight off that they are losing, because you can actually savor it that way. And you might think, well, 2 glasses a week, that's not very much, the hell with that. But in fact,
right.
For most guys, unless they learn to savor the flavor, it really could just be water or soda or something else. Mm-hmm. Actually, having a great beer or a great glass of wine is something that you want, that shocks you with how marvelous it is and how much you've been missing it. So we teach people to train their palate so flavor is first.
All right, let's go to the phone. Good morning. Thank you for being patient with us. You're on the air with Dr. John LaPuma.
Doctor, I think you've said so many wonderful things, and the idea of getting that water in first thing in the morning. And what's really helped me is Sweet Leaf or stevia. The liquid stevia is now out in different flavors, and that really helps to get, a lot more water down. But you also mentioned, there's really no 100% diet for everyone. And I'm wondering what you think about this. Less calories in, more calories out. Get involved with different things and develop yourself and hobbies and interests and get out there. And then you'll think less of food. Food won't be everything. And I know hormones and emotions are so tied in. So I thank you so much for everything you've mentioned. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the call.
You're very kind. I think eat less, exercise more is what seems to work on the surface, and for many people, it is exactly the right message. But for guys who hear that, many guys, they think, you know what, that just sounds like deprivation. I'm not going to do it. And it's stuff. It's what people have been telling us for decades, and here we are, 40 pounds fatter than we were 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I think what men need to hear is a language that's more specific than that. I think men need to know that they need to eat less of the food that they can crumple or crush. I think that they need to know that a lot of the starchy, sugary carbs are actually inflammatory in their body and put that belly fat on them, sap their energy, and kill their muscle mass more than, for example, vegetables or good lean protein.
So if we go to like a baseball stadium or something like that where all the food is probably no good for us, do we just stay away from everything, or do we allow ourselves to indulge in that kind of stuff once in a while when there's no other choices?
I think you do allow yourself to enjoy those things once in a while when there are no other choices. But even better, you bring your own bag of almonds, you bring your own salmon salad, you bring your own pistachios in a box. Now, of course, there are some great baseball parks in the country who are now kind of getting hip and offering really, really good food. And that's a tremendous opportunity for growth, something I'd love to participate in, because you could, in fact, give guys and women great food at a game and not sabotage their health. But if it's all that's there, then yes, enjoy it. And what I would say, and I write about my patients who have had these experiences. I have one lady actually who came in and had osteoarthritis. She got healthy with me, and then she went to a baseball game, just as you said, and had hot dogs. And the next day, her knees were killing her.
Really?
Oh,
Her
my.
knees were killing her. And she came back a week later and said, you know, you were right, but I just went off the hot dogs and went back to eating the right food for me, and my knees got better.
Wow,
And they
it
did.
affected her knees. Who knew?
Yeah,
how-
osteoarthritis.
How do you help a man deal with the time when the metabolism changes? Because when you're growing up, you've got all this energy, you have one way of eating, and nothing, will ever put on the pounds. But once a fella hits like 25, they still might be doing the same activities, but the weight stays on because of the metabolism change.
Well, Robin, I don't think it's the same as it is in women, unless men have had, for example, an operation to remove hormones in which hormones were removed either inadvertently or deliberately. It's different for men. Men do often have a decline in testosterone and growth hormone. They have an elevation in estrogen. They may have disturbances in prolactin and serotonin. But the principal change in men that it causes this lack of energy, loss of drive, both sex drive and ambition, and the lack of the ability to build muscle, is actually this testosterone to estrogen conversion I'm talking about. But it isn't fate. Men don't have to have it. It does decline a little bit with age, but in many American men, and now 35% of men are obese, versus just 27% 15 years ago, when women have been obese about 35% for those 15 years. So the obesity epidemic is actually even more in men than it is in women. The principal change that's metabolic is this testosterone to estrogen conversion with the interior belly fat, which can be reversed if you refuel, if you find a diet that works for you, if you understand food as fuel, and that basically if you have to Google what's in your own food, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Having food that is satisfying and easy and organic when possible, but not essential. There are 5 easy organic changes in the book: milk, peanut butter, apples, ketchup, and potatoes. And if you make those changes and then you cut out sugar-sweetened beverages, which put on calories and fats and convert testosterone to estrogen effectively faster than almost anything else, then you've already taken a great step towards boosting testosterone, building stamina, and of course, getting better flavor.
Who knew that soda would do that, or sugar-sweetened drinks? All right, I have a copy of the book. Let me give the copy I have away. It's called Refuel. It's by Dr. John LaPuma Jr. Dr. John LaPuma, MD, is what I meant to say there. So let me give this one away. If you'd like it, call me at 622-WOCA, the WOCA Climate Control Source Hotline. Doctor, how do we get the book otherwise? And do you have a website?
Yes, please. Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, Books A Million, all have it both in online and in stores and books in Barnes & Noble. And refuelmen.com is the website. We have free book bonuses, including a master chart that tell you exactly what to do when, and some Refuel-approved recipes that I created as part of the program.
Okay, excellent. Let me get this one away. Good morning. You've got the book. Who's this?
Linda.
Linda. Okay, and you know where we are?
Yes, I do.
At the Paddock Mall, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. It'll be waiting for you. Doctor, thank you for being on the air with us today.
Larry, thanks so much for your questions, Robin. Great to be with you.
Good interview. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Today in Florida Ag News from the Southeast AgNet will establish conservation stewards interested in taking their level of natural resources management to the next level have a little more time to do so.
Conservation Stewardship Program, better known as CSP, the deadline has been extended to February the 7th, 2014.
That's Odessa Armstrong, Conservation Program Specialist for the Natural Resources Conservation Service here in Florida, who gives us a bit more details about the USDA program.
The CSP is a voluntary conservation program that encourages producers to address resource concerns by undertaking additional conservation activities, improving, maintaining, and managing existing conservation practices.
And Armstrong notes that a farmer can determine